Hi everyone, just let me find myself. Keep refreshing YouTube till I actually pop up somewhere. Got a busy one today, lots and lots to do and show you, because I've been working on one journal whilst I'm then going to show you how I did it on the new journal. Here we are, there I am. So, hi. Right, you might remember that last time we were doing this, Peter Rabbit and Friends. This is actually Tom Kitten. And this was what we achieved, this window pocket. Now, on its own, it doesn't mean very much. I appreciate that. But I'll show you in a minute where it's going and how it fits into the whole Lapbook thing. The other thing that I was discussing with you last time was whether to put these very sort of austere lines around it. And I do like that. But it quickly became apparent that it wasn't something that I could do on a live or a video because it just takes up too much time and you just all get bored and you'd wander off. And I don't want that. So I decided I'd make another one and this time just ink it up, but not in the brown that we traditionally use. I've actually used this, it's a distress ink as normal, but it's called Salty Ocean. And it's quite sort of turquoisey bright blue. And I've used that for this one. So this one is now redundant, waiting for a home, which is probably never going to find. And I've made this one up, which is exactly the same. The window pockets, two of the tags in there, and a nice background paper. So when you've got your tags out, it looks really, really nice with Tom Kitten. Tom Kitten. So, you might also remember that I was telling you I'm going to do Flower Fairy one at the same time. And what I've decided to do is do the Flower Fairy one ahead of the live. So when it comes to doing the live, I can show you what it is that we're going to be doing. So for today, I can show you that this is our window, same as this here, but this is Flower Fairy. And I decided with this one, because I've got plenty of time to do this, because I'm on my own, that I would stick with these lines, because I actually quite like them. So we've done that. We had put on the piece of sellotape, double-sided sellotape for the hinge. So this was the page that we've got. And it's a side pocket with some trim down there, and then you make this little pocket, and I've stuck some flower fairies and some lace on there. Tag, nice long tag that slides into there, and then on the back you've got another little pocket and just a journaling card in the back. The flower fairies are kind of by nature pretty. And so they're going to have plenty bling, etc. just to bling them up, really. And I decided to use white. I've backed everything. I backed the journaling cards in white, and I'm going to use white lace, which is kind of unusual for me because I normally back everything in coffee-stained paper and use cream lace. Right, so that all sort of fits into there. There's another piece of card, wherever it is, that comes onto here. So you've got a zigzag sort of thing. And then it all folds up into this little booklet. And now I'll show you where that booklet goes, because it's not easy to imagine. And if you haven't seen a Lapbook before, you won't know what on earth I'm talking about. This is the Edith Holden Lapbook that I've completed fairly recently. And I'll just show you the part that we're busy on at the moment. So Lapbook is a book. This is the front cover, back cover and the spine of the original book. And then it opens up and you've got these two additional book covers joined on with leather there. And then it opens up like that. So you've got 4 sections. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can see them all. And there's the 4th one there. And this part here, this little part on the end, is the part that we are busy with now. So in this journal, this is what it looks like inside. It's not half as complicated as the one we're doing at the moment. It comes out very easily with a little ribbon that attaches it to the book itself. And it's just got some flip outs, some writing paper, and that's pretty much it really for that one. But we seem to have decided to make this one that we're doing at the moment loads more complicated. Well, that's what I do. But you know, it just makes it interesting, doesn't it? So that's that. So that's what we're doing. We're doing this little part at the beginning of the Lapbook. So you can see now where it all fits in together. That folds up and it gets its nice belt around it to keep it in place. So there we are. Now you know what we're up to, hopefully. So back to the there's absolutely nobody moving at all around where we live, not a thing. And the dog sits at the window endless hours just hoping for something, anything to come along. And I think he's barking at the moment because he's seen a bird in the garden. It's got down to this. It's really sad. So let me get back to this so I can see what I'm doing. So right, the first thing to do is to cover this card with, we're doing this bit, this is the card. So just to cover this with a piece of paper or card, something that coordinates but not too in your face, perhaps. So I know you can't see that terribly well. Can you see that any clearer? Yeah, you can. It's just a sort of blue checky fabric. Oh, you're not too late. I've just started. Nice to have you with us, Adelia. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing for them to look at, is there? You know, they've kind of given up. Anything at all that moves, they'll have a bark at it. Let's just check that I can get that onto there, which I should be able to because they're both A4 pages. So I'll just get my gluing piece of kitchen towel to glue on. I'm just using glue stick. It's perfectly fine for sticking paper to paper. It's absolutely adequate. You don't need to go into anything more expensive or exotic. I will say, however, that I had ordered some Beacon 3-in-1 glue, and it's arrived and I'm in love with it. It just sticks all those things that I could never get to stick before. So it's a joy to behold. So make sure that you stick it onto the wrong side of the paper, because I've done that several times where I've stuck it onto the right side, and that's no good. I don't know how far we're going to get through this today, but hopefully far enough for you to get the gist of what's going on. Because I'd like really for you to be able to watch this and then, you know, go off and make your own, really. That would be ideal. Because you could choose any theme that you like. I've just chosen Flower Fairies and Beatrix Potter people, but, you know, you could have anything. Butterflies, shabby chic, or even, you know, sewing or recipes or anything at all. Babies, weddings, world's your oyster. Right, so that's got that on the back. What to do with it? Okay. And then we need to put a little pocket up there. It's really good to have already done one and to have one to reference, because ordinarily I keep saying to you, what am I going to do next? What happens now? Now I've lost my ruler. Here we are. So this measures, well, it's about 2 and 5, I don't know, what is it? Just over 2 1/4. Let's go for that. Seems to make sense in my head. 2 1/4. So I need some card. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that my printer had run out of card and was printing on paper. So I've got loads of stuff printed out, but it's on paper, which isn't always what you want. This is nice. This is one of the coordinating papers that comes with it, and I think that'll look quite pretty up there. Peter Rabbit, of course, isn't getting all the lace treatment that the flower fairies are getting. So he's going to be a bit of a plain Jane by comparison. I'll cut that at 2 3/4, I think. I think that's what I said, but I can't remember. No, that's not right. 2 1/4. I'm off already, honestly. 2 1/4. I'll get this pocket stuck on. Actually, that isn't what I wanted to do. I just made a boo-boo there. I was right first time. Cut it at 2 3/4. Don't worry about that. That will find a home somewhere in this journal. It's not wasted. But it's just not what I want right now. So I'm cutting that at 2 3/4 now. And then I'm going to score along it 1/2 inch. So I can fold it in, so I've got a bit of a, so this edge is a bit tougher than just one piece of card. And I have a new gadget for scoring. I'll show you in a sec. It looks for all the world like an ordinary rotary cutter, except I'm guessing the blade's blunt or something, I don't know. But it just scores, it doesn't cut. So I really quite like it. Saves me having to get my big scoreboard out. So that's scored along there, as you can see. And then I'm just going to fold it that way first. Just be gentle when you fold paper and card, because you can go off quite quickly. And then fold it back. Just not convinced that's exactly square. 1 3/4. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. My eyes deceive me. So get your bone folder and just run it along there, just crisping the edge up. And then we just want to glue that down. And then we've got a bit of a sturdier edge than we would have had otherwise. But it needs to be glued down, because otherwise when you're getting things in and out the pocket, it's going to come up and annoy the living daylights out of you. So, hi Shaz, thanks for joining. Thanks very much for joining, I do appreciate it. So that's going to go onto there, that's going to be our side pocket. But I just want to put something down here. With this one, I've put lace down there, but as you know, I'm steering away from lace with this, the Peter Rabbit one. But in the set of papers that I had, you get these borders, and I think one of those might be quite nice. I don't know, that one maybe? Or shall I go full hog? I'll cut out the full hog one. If we don't like it, we can go back and cut out the smaller one. Might as well do that with a cutter, haven't I, really? But as you can see, with all the stuff that we have to get through for a total lapbook, you're going to be glad if I start to do some stuff away from the lives, because it's going to drive you dotty otherwise. But the bits that are obvious, I'll get done and just explain it to you. Because there's certain things that you don't really need to see me do. Things that we've done 1,000, 100,000 times before. So there we are. I don't like that, so I'm putting it in the bin. So this is going to go down here. Yeah, I think that's nice actually, I quite like that. It's enough, it's nice, I think so. Let's just see how long we need this to be. I think I'm going to have to chop his head off one way or the other. I think this looks the least barbaric. So I'm just going to cut it there, which gives us just a little bit of fiddle factor. I always like to include a bit of fiddle factor if I can, because for me, things just sometimes just need fiddling. I know if you measure correctly and everything, it should all just fit together like clockwork. I know that. And I do measure correctly. Sometimes I don't exactly know what I've measured. And it just doesn't happen for me. Right, so a little kind of, well, it's not a trick. It's not a trick. It's just a little thing that might help you if you're placing ribbon or something like this. Get your thing that you're placing it on. Put your ruler to where you want it to go. I'm not convinced that's square, but never mind. And then you can just, oops, upside down Tom Kitten. Just place this up against, that's too much, I'll have to come across a bit. Just place it up against the edge of your ruler and you'll be fine. It'll be straight at least. There we are. That's my tip of the day. There might be more, who knows? I don't know. It's possible. So, lovely jubbly. Right, I'm going to pull my microphone lead out in a minute. Hooray, say you all. We don't have to listen to you. Alright, so I can cut these off. I didn't need my fiddle factor as it was. So there we go. Hi Debbie. Yeah, I think it's probably best if you come to YouTube and just look my channel up, sort of thing. I'm glad that you've made it though, thank you very much for taking the time and trouble. It's a lovely day here. I don't know what it's like with you lot all around the world. It's crisp and cool, but really the sun's out and it's really quite nice. So there we are, there's our pocket, which I'm now going to glue on. And I want something a bit more on this. You all right?
Yes, can you just check with you that that's suitable for you?
Excuse me. It's quite textured if you're all right with that.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, it's nice. I'll just show what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at leather. And this is what we make our... Well, now you've seen the leather, I'll show you what we do with it. This is the bare bones here of a lapbook. So what you do is you get your book. In this case, it's How the Mind Works by Steven Pinker. Do you appreciate that, Shaz? And you gut it completely and then put a piece of very firm card in there. Not cardstock, really, really firm, something, tough in there. Or several layers of cardstock, of course. And then this is another book completely Actually, it's two of the same thing, but there is another book completely that you've gutted and then cut the spine out of, and you attach those either end with the leather that Justin was just showing us. You put the leather over, you put a cardboard spine in there, then you put leather over the top. Worryingly enough, he's now under the table. I don't know what's got into him today. Spring has sprung. He's after a ruler. So that's the guts of a MacBook, a Lapbook. Hey, do you want how the mind works? Thank you. Going to the city for supplies and take my mum her groceries. I won't let her get out. No. Yeah, faux leather. We have a substance called, I don't know where it is. Here it is. I'll get it for you. Craftex, which when we got it we had it shipped in from America, but it's now available everywhere, pretty much everywhere. And this is a kind of faux leather. It's called Craftex, as I said. Tough, touchable, new paper. Combines the best of leather and fabric. You can wash it, you can dye it, you can cut it very easily, you can sew it like a dream. And it's what I used. Here's a piece that's been in the washer and the tumbler, just to try and get it some crinkliness, some age to it. But you know, it's strong as strong could be. It's just like leather. In fact, I think I told you this before, it's what they make the thing on the back of Levi jeans out of. And you know, with that, the more you wash it, the nicer that label gets. But when it's new, this is what it looks like this. So that's Craftex, which is a perfectly viable alternative for anyone who's vegan, vegetarian, or just doesn't have leather and wants to buy some. It's available here, and it's not that awfully dear. And you get I don't know if you can choose how much you get, but we've got a fair chunk of it there. And we went for the tan, so as you can dye it if you want to. Right, so let's stick this little fella on. And I'm going to use my new... actually, I'm not going to stick that on just yet, because what I want to know is, where's it going to go when I put that in it? I'm not putting this exact one, we're making one, aren't we? Oh, it's all right, it does fit. Yeah, okay, then let's put that in. So it's from there. I think this glue might have seized up, actually. I think I'm going to have to use it out the bottle. I think it's been left sitting without the pin in for too long. But this is fine. This is the same thing. I just had it decanted into a smaller, more user-friendly bottle, squeezy bottle. But this is fine. Don't know how far up that comes now. To about there. Right, so I'll stick this on, and then we'll move on to the exciting stuff. Because to be honest, I'm sure you can all make pockets. So there we are. Press it down. Do it on a glue, something that you don't mind getting glue onto. Some people use the innards of old books for gluing onto, and that's a fantastic use of them, I think. The only problem is that I love the book so much I can't bring myself. I've got an old dictionary lying here, and I can't possibly use that. And then, you know, How the Mind Works, that book there from Steven Pinker. There's no way that it's just not getting, no. So I'll just use kitchen towel. So there we are, that's that. I'll leave that to dry whilst we progress with the next exciting bit. So we're down to this bit, the inside bit. So I want some card that's kind of backgroundy, some backgroundy card. I might use this actually. Or is that a bit too close to that? Possibly is, you know. They've fallen out and I wasn't going to show you those till after. On the back of this page that we're doing, we've got 3 journaling tags. And they just go into this lace pocket. It's easy peasy. You can all do that. And all I've done is, I've shown you in the past how I've made the snippet roll. I might show you again at some stage in the future just for new people. But that's just a snippet roll backed onto a piece of white lace with some of those flat back pearls glued onto it. And they all just fit nicely in that lace pocket there. And look pretty. They look pretty. We won't be doing any of the flat back pearl business for Peter Rabbit, however. He's not getting any of those. Let's just find some card that we can use. I could use that. I can't use that, it's the wrong way around. I need something that's landscape, not portrait. Right, okay, one of these will do. Will do nicely. So I've got this one, which really is what it says on the tin. And then I've got this one, which is also, I think I might use this one actually. It's also Tom Kitten and his sister. Both his sisters actually. So I quite like that. Right, so the thing to do then is fold it. Did I fold it that way? This is why I do it, so as I can do it before I go on. I still can't remember what to do. Right, I think you measure the first section at 3 1/4 inches. 3 1/4. So let's just score that. I'm thinking the pollen count's high today. I feel quite sniffery. And I'm quite sure it's nothing untoward. So I haven't got a temperature or anything like that, just itchy eyes and a runny nose. And score again another 3. Oh no, picked up the wrong cutter. Oh dear, oh dear. Wow. It'll have to be this one then. Let's put the other cutter out the way. That's just not on. It's not making it a fair playing field for me. So if you've got a scoreboard, it's 3 1/4 from the end. That you score at. And then again, another 3 1/2 inches after that. So 6 3/4 from the end. And score that either on your scoreboard or as I'm doing with a scoring wheel. Right, so that folds over to there. Then the other one folds over so just make sure that you've got it straight by making sure it's straight along the line there. Get your bone folder. Got this all the wrong way. That's it. Make sure it's straight at the edge of your paper. Get your bone folders. Do that. Burnish it, I think is the expression I'm looking for. Like that. And that leaves you with this section here, which needs to be cut off. But once again, we want to allow a 1/2 inch to turn back on itself. So this is this is this bit now that we're doing. So it's got a little bit turned back on itself, and that placket there measures 1.5 inches. So we need this bit to be 2 inches and chopped off. Chop it off this time, Fiona. You can chop it off. Okay. I'm just measuring, that's why I've gone quiet. Then I need the cutty one this time. And I just need to score that 1/2 inch in, fold it down and glue it. Then you'll see how it fits together. Score, score, yeah, not cut. Okay, so that folds in. I just fold it the other way first. I find you often get a better fold, better crease if you fold it that way first and then over on itself. Like so. So we need to glue that down, like we did with the other pocket. This is quite thick paper that I'm using, but even so, I don't trust it with things coming in and out all the time that it won't tear. And it's better to have a kind of belt and braces approach than ruin somebody's whole journal by bits, you know, not being very well made. I'm waiting for a couple of people who have sent completed journals. They bought my journals and I sent them yesterday, and I'm waiting to see. I can't wait to see what they think of them, because I've included some extra pieces in there for them. Right, so this comes over here, that comes over there, and this is our little pocket that we've got here. Now the whole thing isn't as tall as that. This is a tag that's in it, so to get the height of it we'll just use this one, and it's that tall, so we'll just cut that off straight along there. I misinterpreted what you'd written there, Debbie. I thought you said you had English heritage, Sir somebody of Burton. And I thought, blimey, that's a bit posh. Says someone of Burton. I misread it. So that's that. That's just extra. Read all about it. I'm just going to have a drink for a second. Right then, so the first thing that we need to do is glue it up, really. So before I glue it, I'm just going to go down this edge, because it's going to be really difficult to reach after I've glued it. Quite like the idea of using a different colour ink. I'm just heart sick of that blinking brown everywhere. So we glue it by just putting a bead of glue along the bottom and a little bead of glue up the side here, and then fold it over. I'm going to use Aleene's because it's the only one I've got in a little jar that I can get out. So bead along the bottom, so that'll go to there. Yeah, that's right. So press that down. I'm just going to put a glue cloth underneath and a bead down this side. just a touch in from the side, because you don't want it when it squishes to squish into your pocket. So just down the side of that, and then this needs to come over to there. Hold the bottom in place. So we're building now, guys. We are building. Do that there. No, I don't want to stick the top down. You silly girl. Not concentrating today. Right, so that's that. I've got a piece of acetate somewhere. Thickish piece of acetate. I'm just going to stick in there because I don't want it to stick together. And fold that over. Like so. And the bottom's now stuck. And the side should have stuck to itself. Are you looking for a pin? Oh, glue. Oh yeah, I do need to stick that. Need to stick it to the bit that's coming up from the back. Like so. Right. So that's us. We should all be stuck now. That needs to be stuck. So I'm just going to pop that in there just to save that from sticking on that edge. So we've got a pocket, we've got a front. Yeah, we're cooking. We are cooking. I'm going to be using this actually, so I can hold it open myself. So let's ink that up. You wouldn't think it's credible, would you, to make so many different things out of ostensibly a sheet of paper and some glue. It's just... I used to do patchworking, you know, a lot of patchworking. And it's just remarkable because it's pretty much the same thing. You take a beautiful piece of fabric, you know, so beautiful sometimes you can barely bring yourself to cut into it. And you cut it all up and then you sew them all back together. So, you know, this is a kind of an extension of that really, isn't it? You get some gorgeous papers and chop them all up and stick them back together. But hopefully the end result is worth it. Right, so we've got a tag to make, which is this one. So let's just check that that's going to fit in there beautifully. Look at that. Yeah, perfect. And I want to stick something on the front. Bearing in mind, it's not going to have this lace around it. This is for fairies only. And then on the back, as I say, it's just a journaling card, and I've stuck a bit of lace down there. So we might get away with putting another little bit of the. I want to call him Tommy Tippy today. I've got no idea why. Of this little guy down there. I think we'll give that a try. I quite like these borders. I think they're doing quite well for us today. If you're wondering where all this paper originates from, the patterns on the paper, that is to say, it's a crafter's companion set that I think they had out, well, some years ago. But it's really, really lovely and perfect for what I need. And it's just lots of designs on a CD-ROM, which is kind of a blast from the past. But Justin got it to work on we've got all Mac stuff, but we've also got a Lapbook that works on Windows. And he got it to work on there, enough to get the files off it and put them on my MacBook. So I can spend my entire evening looking through all these files. And I do. The thing is, you can't really print them all out. I mean, it'd just be daft. It would, you know, you'd use up an entire rainforest. Just cut. I don't like the line I cut to, so I'm just going to cut to this line. There we are. So you have to be semi-selective about what you print out. But there's so many of them. Right, so I'm just going to put him down there, and that's just going to enliven that space there, I think. So chop that off there. So overall, I'll tell you what this measures, just in case you really are following on. I'd love to think you were somebody somewhere in the world. 6, just over 6 1/4, not quite 6 1/2. So let's glue that down there. It just needs blue glue, nothing fancier. I've just got a new box of blue glue today. So that's however many there is, 12 or something, dozen I think, in there. So that should keep me in business for a while. I do like it, much, much better than Prit. It's really not so gloopy. Right, so we'll employ the same methodology again. We'll use a ruler and just hold that up against the edge wherever you want it to be. I think I'll put it in 1/2 inch. That might be a bit too much actually. Every time I say how good that blue glue is, something happens to it. I think that's a bit too far over. Yeah, I'll just go in another 1/8 of an inch. So we're now at 3/8 on that ruler. I'm just going to put this in tight up to the ruler so it's straight. And burnish it down. There we are. He looks nice, doesn't he? Okay, so the way I've done this one, this part is the back really. Looks more like the back to me. And on the front I've put this nice image with lace around it. I did also cut out a hole there for like a thumb hole to let people know that there's something inside it, because otherwise that kind of looks like it's part of it. So I've put this thumb hole here, and I intend to do the same here. So I'm just, I know a lot of you can do this by eye. I can generally do it by eye myself, but you know, for the sake of completeness today, I'm doing it, I'm going to measure it, except I've lost my pencil. Never mind, pen will do. So that's 3 1/2. That's 1 3/4, I think, isn't it? Yeah. I'll go with 1 3/4. I need to sharpen my pencils. They should have done this before I oh no, I'm going to have to do it by eye now. I think it's about there. Yeah, it's a bit too deep, but I can easily sort that problem out. I shall just cut off those looks. Then it won't look so bad. There we are. So we've still got our thumb hole, and I need to ink that. So there we are. Right, so now we need a picture to stick on here. Something quite nice, of course. Why would you stick anything on that you think is horrible? I did fussy cut something out before. Of course I can't find it now. it's here somewhere, so I'm going to take the time and look for it. It's a little, here he is, the cheeky little fella. So I've got that, which I think is really quite nice. I also have this, but I think that's perhaps a little bit small. So I could put him on, which would look nice, definitely. But I've got images galore. So let's just have a quick canter through the world of the images and see if we've got anything that would do the job. They're too big. These ones, well, that one. This is Mrs. Tabitha Twitchett. She's their mum. Yes, that would fit on quite nicely. I'll keep that to one side. I mean, you can cut these down as well. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's the fella that I cut out. Now that would probably fit on. Yeah, that would fit on. I'll keep that to one side. No, not really. That one. Yeah, that one would. No. No. Tags. No. Right, so we've got, oh, hang on. Hang about. What about one of these? They're nice. Do they fit? They're too wide. Ooh, it just fits. Yeah, I like this one. I like this one a lot. I'm going for it. And it just fits. It's a bit tight, but it fits. That's the main thing. It doesn't really matter how tight it is. Oops, sorry. It's my closed sign. Sorry if you caught a glimpse of that. I don't mean to offend anyone. I've got such a shock. I've lost my blinking thing. Oh, here it is. So just cut around this. I'm cutting on the sort of inner side of this black line because it's so tight that might make a huge difference. So has everybody now got the cleanest house they've ever had? Because boredom has forced us into cleaning our houses, doing the gardens, etc. Or you could just be junk journaling. Why ever not? Right, so there we are. And as you can see, that fits on there but perfectly nonetheless. Couldn't have made it better. Wow, Debbie. You're more English than me because I'm Scottish. All my relatives are Scottish. But I went to school in England, so I've got an English accent. But I definitely am Scottish. Okay. So there we are. That's going to look nice, I think. This one obviously isn't going to be pretty like the flower fairies. It's going to be nice, but just, you know, with Edith Holden, the Edith Holden one that I did, I think it had one piece of lace in the whole thing and no bling at all, which for me is quite extraordinary because I love bling. So we're going to know when we've got this right because it's such a small margin to play with. And that's about it, I'd say. Lovely, that's lovely. So now we need to make our tag. This one is very plain, just with some bling and some lace at the top. So I just need some nice card. I had some before, didn't I? That was... How about this one? That's nice. That's nice, I think. So I want it to be the length of that plus a little bit for the where you shape the shoulders of the tag. So in fact it is to there, and I want it 3. Let's just measure this and make sure that we're right. Well, it actually measures 3 1/8. 3 1/8. Has anybody got little kids at home? Because I imagine it's quite difficult keeping them amused all this time. Especially if you haven't got gardens. It must be torturous, actually. So that's to there. I'll just cut this off here. Make sure it's square. I imagine there's going to be quite a lot of sort of revelry, shall we say, going on when this lockdown is lifted. Because, I mean, I genuinely don't go out that much anyway, but even I feel cooped in. And poor old Justin, he started to dream about charity shops. That's how bad it is. He's dreaming about charity shops. Poor soul. Oh dear me. I mean, he is the king of charity shops, I have to say that. He really is. But, you know, and he did say to me the other day that he's missing them, but I didn't think that he was missing them quite that much. But he is. I want some, I don't want flapping around it, I want this. I want some coffee stained paper, I want to stick that onto it. So next time, which will be on Saturday at 2 o'clock over here on this YouTube channel, I'll be doing, well, trying to wrap this up actually, this little booklet goes in the end. It's had quite enough of our time now. So, you know, even if I've got to sort of cheat a bit and do some of the Peter Rabbit before Saturday, come the end of Saturday, that booklet will be done. Because it's just, you know, it's just such a small part of the whole Lapbook. So I can't have it really taking over. You know, I want you to see how things work and basically why we charge what we charge for them. Should be charging more, really. and show you absolutely everything from ground up, so that you can go away and you can make quite a good start on making your own. But you know, once you've seen me make a tag, you've seen me make a tag. It doesn't alter ever. It's just the same, just different dimensions probably. Sometimes they're all the same. Okay, now I've lost my scissors. So if there's any tag making, etc., etc., I will do that before I come on Saturday, so as we can move along the bus. I mean, this is a nice little feature in the Lapbook, without doubt it is. And it's a transportable thing. You can untie it from the book and take it with you. But it's getting to have had enough time now. I guess you could call it a little folio. That's what I might call it, a little folio. I just need to cut my corners off. It's nearly cutting corners there. So I made myself a template for cutting corners. I recommend that you do that. It just saves ages of, is that square? Is that the same? Just make yourself a template. This one does double duty. That side's bigger than that side, so do that, flip it over and do that again. Like around there. This bright blue is really nice ink, I think. It's nice and jolly. It makes up for the fact that we actually aren't out, you know, there's not much lace around. Not saying there won't be any lace in this. I mean, the puddle ducks, etc., they probably deserve a bit of lace. Right, that goes into there. I'm going to have to chop a bit off the bottom because it's, I think it's a bit too tall for my requirements. That one slides all the way in, but this one for some reason doesn't. So I'm just going to take a little bit off the bottom of there, because otherwise, you know what, it'll just annoy me. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch off and see if that gets us where we need to be. I've obviously, the glue on the bottom has glued it shut, whereas with the other one I must have held it open for longer. It's not the end of the world, it's not a big deal, guys. Yeah, that's fine, that's good. So I'll just ink the bottom of that. Oh, come on. So that now goes into there. I'm debating whether or not it needs just a little bit of lace on it as a tag, nothing more than that. This is the back, and all that I put in the back of the fairies one was a journaling card with a little bit of bling on it. So that, you know, that would be Peter Rabbit, what's his called? Tom Kitten in there. So ostensibly it's finished. I mean, you can now go away and make this. I'm not saying it was the best tuition, but it'll get you there. It'll get you to here, which is where we want to be. And then on the back, which I won't show you because you know how to do this. It's a bit of lace, bit of white lace, but in Peter Rabbit's case, it's going to be this cream lace. So it's a little bit thinner. So what I'm proposing to do is just bring it in a little bit from the edge to about there on the one we've got. This one, in fact. So there's our pocket. This that we've just made goes into our pocket like that, with the journaling card in the back. Journaling card. Don't forget journaling card. Or something, you know, something. But journaling card's great. That fits in there. Then when you turn this over, don't forget about your sellotape hinge, which you've got here. This is the first piece that we did. Stick with me, guys. Justin can't have any secrets. No, of course not. Hi, Laura. Nice of you to join me. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. So the sellotape that we put on at the end of the last one, which was this plastic hinge, make sure before you start on the back piece, which is this piece, that you've stuck the sellotape down. Stick the sellotape down onto there. Then put your paper down. Then your lace. Then your journaling cards in there. You can do this, guys. You really can. It's straightforward. I've decorated my journaling cards. You don't even have to do that. Just, you know, fill that pocket up. So I'm not going to show you how to do that because you know. So when you join me on Saturday, hopefully you will join me on Saturday. It'd be nice if you could. We'll be shifted along with this considerably, and you'll be able to see where we're going. So it'll start to get a bit more interesting. So this is what we've achieved today. We have got our nice pocket down there. This goes in here. Tag goes in there. And we need a journaling card, at least one journaling card in the back of there. The find of the day was using this border, like a sort of ribbon, if you like. I really like that idea. It's worked really well for us. And overall, it's smashing, I think. So there we are, it's coming along. Right, thank you very much, Debbie, Shaz, Adelia and Laura, thank you. And I can see there's somebody else there, but I don't know who you are, but irrespective, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your company and I love your nice comments that you leave. So see you on Saturday, 2 o'clock UK British time, where we'll be doing it all again. Bye.